You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, and guess who's here? Yeah, Ryan Tejas.
I'm here. I'm usually here.
Your hair's getting long.
I know it's been about 2 months, and that's when I usually have to go cut it.
Do you think people find this interesting, this conversation?
I hope so. If they don't, then what are they doing here?
Ryan just came with me to New Jersey. We had a convention, and it was the first Smallville convention ever, and you were a hero, man. We've talked about it on Talkville, but people loved you. You signed autographs. You took pictures.
I did. It was very cool.
Yeah,
it was very, really very cool. Thank you all for doing it.
Yeah, I'm glad you came, man. It made it. I felt my trip was better because you were there, Ryan.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
I had a great time. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. If you're enjoying this podcast, please follow us. Ryan, what's the handles?
At Inside of You Pod on Twitter, at Inside of You Podcast on Instagram.
That's right. Writing a review helps out. And if you want to join Patreon to help us out, it's an amazing little organization. Organization, or would you say a community?
It's both.
It's both. But you could join it, and there's a lot of perks and tiers. And like one tier is I'll send boxes to you every couple months and notes, and there's Zooms and blah, blah, blah. And it's a lot of fun. And most importantly, you're supporting the podcast, which we really need you. Go to Patreon, Patreon, patreon.com/inside of you, and become a member. And I'll send a message back. We need you. And a few other things. My Instagram, at the Michael Rosenbaum. The link tree is on there, cameos and all that. But my new book, The Talented Farter, comes out October 22nd. So please grab a book. I know you're going to like it. It's a sound book. And also Rosie's Puppy Fresh Breath for your dog's breath is on there too. And all that. Forget anything. Oh, the Inside of You online store. Smallville scripts. We got some charity scripts signed by the entire cast. They're old school from my collection, Ryan.
Ooh.
So they go to charity. So
that's nice.
Yeah.
Very nice of you.
Yeah, well, I hope they sell. Maybe I'll buy them if they don't. Would that be weird? That'd be sort of
buy your own scripts.
Defeat the purpose. But anyway, Eric Roberts is here today. Hollywood legend, Hollywood royalty, if you will. We talk about his life. We talk about his addiction. We talk about his anxieties and depression. We talk about everything. He's really open. He was so cool to talk to. I was a little bit like, sometimes with these Hollywood royalty, you kind of go, oh my God, I'm Pope of Greenwich Village, man. Charlie, they took my thumb, Charlie. I got really excited. He's here. So listen and tell me what you think. Thanks for listening, and let's get inside of Eric Roberts.
It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum.
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience. I love that you come in here and you're enamored by my place, which is, you're a movie star. You've seen a lot of big mansions and stuff, but for some reason you were kind of like, this house is cool.
Yeah, but I'm a movie nerd, man. So I'm easily like, oh, wow, that's so cool. That kind of, I'm that guy.
Do you have any props or things that you saved or anything like that?
Well, what's happened to me, I did. The past 20 to 25 years, I have been nothing but on the road 9 to 11 months of the year. So everything I had, like horses, coin collections, stamp collections, that kind of thing, has all been put away for the time being. And then I became a grandfather, and I got busy being that. And that is so much fun. And, with the grandchildren and the grandparents have something in common. We have a common enemy. The parents. So it's a great relationship. And the oldest grandchild is Georgia. She's 5. And she came to Dancing with the Stars the other night. And so I'm her hero again.
I read about that, and I read how it was the most terrified you've ever been doing something.
Dude, I got over audience and camera fear many decades ago.
Really? You didn't have any fear by it? Out of all the movies and stuff, you just... No, didn't give a shit.
That's what I did for a living. Let's go do it. But Dancing with the Stars, I'm scared pitless.
What are you feeling? Like you feeling you're going to throw up?
No. Here's my image. I would watch that show on occasion. It's my wife's favorite show, and I'd pass through and sit down and watch a little bit of it, blah, blah. And I'm sure I have, out of the 40 million viewers, 20 million men are at home doing what I did, saying, that guy can't sing. And so, they know it's saying, see, it even makes you nervous to talk about it. That guy can't dance. So,
But you didn't care. You went in saying people are going to make fun. People are going to do this, but I don't give a shit.
Well, sort of. That was in the back of my mind. And the front of my mind was it's my wife's favorite show. I'm doing this for my wife because I owe her my life. Why not give her this? So that's why I said yes to the show.
Did she want you to do it?
Well, 19 years ago, I may have been, if I was not, the first person, I was one of the first people they offered this show to. And I had one day overlay and schedule with a movie I was in China called DOA. Not a great film, but fun to watch. But anyway, it had one day overlay in the schedule, and they wouldn't let me go. And I didn't even end up shooting that day. Oh,
were you pissed?
Well, I was unfortunate. But so 19 years later, they say, want to be on the show? Well, of course. It's my wife's favorite show. I have to do it. So that's what's happened.
And when you said yes, she probably was like, what? You're doing this?
Yeah, she was happy.
She was happy.
Yeah, she was.
And did she get nervous for you?
My wife is my fan club, dude. Yes, she gets nervous.
Wasn't she a casting director?
She was the casting director.
She was the casting director.
Yeah. She discovered all kinds of people who were big, huge stars. George Clooney, Halle Berry. She put George in ER.
Did she cast you in something and then you fell in love?
No, what happened was I flew in from Rome to JFK. I'm handed a script at JFK. You have to read this on the plane. They put me on a private MGM Grand plane. Okay, cool. I get on it. And I open my script, and then walks this redhead with a script, sits down in front of me, opens up the script as well. Hi, how do you do? How do you do? Blah, blah, blah. We read our script. We close them at the same time. So we kind of have to talk. Hi, what are you reading? What are you reading? Who wrote that? Who wrote that? Blah, 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 blah. She says, who's your favorite screenwriter? I said, one guy, David Rayfield. He wrote 3 Days of the Condor, Out of Africa, The Way We Were, The Firm, blah, blah, blah. She goes, oh, I know. He's my father. And I went, wow, that's so cool. Can I have your phone number? And she said,
because I want to meet your father.
Well, sort of. Can I have your phone number? And she says, I'm in a relationship. I said, I didn't ask to sleep with you. I asked for your phone number. She laughed and gave it to me. Now, here's where the story gets good. So that evening, I go to work. Now, I get through work about 10:30 p.m., so I'm home by 11. And I call this chick I met on a plane because she gave me her number. So I called her. Well, a man with a very deep voice answers the phone. Hello. That's a drag. Can I speak to Eliza? May I ask who's calling? Eric. Just a minute, please. He's gone for like 5 full minutes, but I hear something. So I stay on the line. She comes back, blah, blah, blah. We're married 32 years. We have a relationship, blah, blah, blah. But here's what happened. He goes to her telephone call. She goes, who is it? Eric. I don't know an Eric. It sounds like Eric Roberts. Oh, I met him on the plane. She takes the call. Now, because he recognized my voice, she took the call. I would not have called back had she not taken the call. I would not be married to her, dude. I would not have my wife or the life I have.
So it's just kind of a lucky thing.
Because Jeffrey Dean Morgan recognized my voice. Who? Because she was not.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan answered the phone?
He was her babysitter. That's
Jeffrey Dean Morgan from Walking Dead, the actor.
From Walking Dead.
He answered the phone.
And because he recognized my voice, she took the call, and I've had her in my life for the 33 years since then. Who knew?
Jesus.
So I owe him a lot.
Now, she probably knew. Did she know your history?
Meaning?
I mean, you have a history. Obviously, your new memoir, Runaway Train, the story of my life so far. You talk about addiction and all that. Did she start to learn about all this stuff, or does she have any kind of idea
I don't think
what she was getting into?
I don't think she knew any of the details, no.
Did you give them to her?
Not right away.
You got married first?
Well, she has wide eyes, though. She's not stupid. And in fact, she's the smartest person I ever kissed.
Really?
Yeah, she is.
So you're in love, I could tell. You're still smitten.
Oh, yeah, dude. I still chase my wife.
You still chase her around the house? What are you talking about? That's in your book.
It's in the book.
Now, a lot of people probably, I read somewhere where people have asked you to write a memoir. They've said, hey, you should do this. And you were like, I'm not fucking doing this, right?
Yeah, it's exactly. For 15 years now, I've been getting pressured. And it's always the same thing. Why would I write a book? You know, what the F, dude? I'm not writing
So why did you?
Well, I finally realized, I mean, I've been told this, but I thought it was a fad, you know. But I finally realized people don't know what I am at all. They all think I'm part of who I play, you know. And I play a lot of insanity. I play a lot of unfortunates. I play a lot of almost, you know, and you know, it's kind of, you know, and so a lot of people think I am those things. Now, of course, I know how to reach for those things, but I'm something totally different. And I hope it does, you know, come across in the book that I have no axe to grind and I'm not pretentious.
You know what's funny is you kind of sound like, tell me if I'm wrong, Ryan, did you notice a little Matthew McConaughey? You kind of have a little bit, maybe he has a little bit of you, is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, whatever it is.
Like,
I'm a fan of his. He's a hell of an actor.
Can you give me an all right, all right, all right?
No, I can't do that because that belongs to him.
But you could probably do an impression. Do you do impressions?
I do not.
You don't do any impressions?
Except I love Jack.
Well, who doesn't like Jack?
Who doesn't like Jack?
Have you worked with Jack?
No, but Jack and I have said hello.
Inside of You is brought to you by Rocket Money. Why doesn't everyone, Ryan, have Rocket Money? This is an unbelievable app.
I know. I use it.
You do use it.
I do use it.
I know. We're going to talk about that. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I don't know how many times I've done this in Ryan, but you want to watch, let's make up a movie. You want to, or a new series. It's called The Breadwinners
of Indiana.
And it's only on Shabu. I'm making that up. And it's a streamer. And you're like, I really want to watch that, but I'll do the free trial. And then you do the free trial, but you forget that it's going to kick in and start charging you every month. And now you've paid $100 in the year to see this crappy show, The Breadwinners of Indiana.
It's not even that good.
It's not even that good.
Not even worth keeping
Rocket Money is going. Tell them about Rocket Money. What happened to you?
I also found a subscription that I'd been subscribed to for an embarrassingly long time, and I found it and we canceled it. Thank you.
And what else did they do?
They canceled it for me. They dealt with the customer service. They did the whole thing.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. It's been said that most Americans think they spend about $62 per month on subscriptions, but the real number is closer to $300. That's a big difference. Even if just a couple of subscriptions fall off your radar, those recurring payments you don't even know about can easily add up. Thanks to Rocket Money, Ryan's no longer losing money because of subscriptions we forgot about.
Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lowering your bills for you, sometimes by up to 20%. They automatically scan your bills to find opportunities to save. Then you can ask them to negotiate for you. They'll deal with the customer service.
Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/inside. That's rocketmoney.com/inside. rocketmoney.com/inside. Is there any actor that you, what's the biggest actor you've been close friends with?
Close friends with?
Yeah.
I haven't been friends with anybody except my wife. Friends? No, it would be Sterling Hayden.
Really?
Yeah, Sterling and I were pals. We hung, we grocery shopped together. We smoked a little dope now and then together.
Well, Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, but he's not an old timer. He's me.
Oh, you're thinking like old. He's a peer. You're thinking
exactly
like Brando.
Exactly. I thought that's what you were asking.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
You know, I remember watching Pope of Greenwich Village, and that scene where you walk in, you play Paulie, and I just remember that performance is just. It just stays with you. Like, they took my thumb, Charlie. They took my thumb.
Thank you so much.
And it's just like, and I wonder as an actor myself, like how you prepare for something like that. Like when you're behind the door before Mickey Rourke answers the door, you know, what are you doing to prepare? Because that's like, you're so emotional. It's so all over the place in a charactery, really cool way. But how do you get into that? What is your method? Do you just action go? Or do you really tear up and get ready to, you know?
To play that kind of character in that kind of situation, you have to go there. You have to be that character in that situation. You have to find whatever it takes to take you to that moment of impact, of reality, time, space, feeling, understanding, misunderstanding, whatever it is, that moment of when you, Charlie, they took my thumb, and you know it's true. So the audience knows it's true.
It hurts so bad. Like, you just believe your pain. You believe I mean, that was just an extraordinary performance. And I always remember that. I've seen a lot of your work and I'm always impressed, but like, you really go for it. You really just go for it. Like, you don't, it's like some actors watch themselves and go, oh, this will look cool. Or I think this, but I feel like you just do something going, I don't care how it looks. This is how I'm feeling, how I'm going to do it.
Well, I would hope it's not that completely subjective, and then this is how I would do it. And this is how where I'm at in this person would do it. It's not Eric. Eric is not the baby Paulie was. Paulie's a huge baby, but Paulie wants to be a gangster. Paulie is not a gangster,
Right? Right.
But as much as he wants to be a stud.
Yeah.
Paulie is not a stud. I mean, he wants to be a lot of things he's not.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to play. And Mickey's character is all the things Paulie wants to be.
Right. He looks up to him.
That's a dichotomy. And that's what I wanted to play, as opposed to how it was kind of written is Paulie was just a lesser version with mistakes of Charlie. That's not as much fun as being completely opposite.
And you kind of worked with the director and said, here's what I want to bring to it.
And well, I was offered that role in January of that year, and they said, pick apart Paulie or Charlie. I was given the book and the script. I was up in Hartford doing Glass Menagerie because Tennessee Williams had just died, so everybody was doing a Tennessee Williams play. Right. I was up there doing the Glass Menagerie, and got the script and the book and pick apart Paulie or Charlie. So I read both a couple of times. And I picked Paulie because I saw if I can play him like I want to play him, I want to play Paulie. And the way I want to play him is a mama's boy who wants to be a tough guy, not an idiot trying to be a tough guy. And Koch and Kirkwood, both said, we're hiring you because it's you. You do what you want. I said, okay, thanks, guys. Now, that was January. So I had February, March, April, May, June, July, and August. And I lost 30 pounds, and I permed my hair, and I learned my script, and I showed up ready to rock. And we had a week of rehearsal. It's in the book. We had a week of rehearsal, and cool. So after the third rehearsal, me and Mick and the director, at the third rehearsal, the director asked me to stay after and talk to him. I said, sure, man, what's up? Why are you so skinny? As if there was something wrong with that. I said, I want to be a walking spaz attack. He goes, okay. Why'd you perm your hair? I said, same thing, walking spaz attack. He goes,
walking spaz attack.
Yeah, he goes, what the fuck is a walking spaz attack? I said, John Belushi, only skinny. He goes, no. This guy's a tough thug. He's stupid. He's an idiot. He walks into walls, but he's a thug. I said, that's how he's written. I know, but I told the producers, both of them, 6-7 months ago, I said I was playing him completely different. My take on it is blah, blah, blah. That's why the weight. That's why the perm. That's why the accent. That's why the emphasis. That's why.
And he tried to talk you out of it.
He did not try to talk me out of it. He asked me to resign.
He tried to make you quit.
I said, yeah. I said, well, let me think about it. Now, I got to be honest with you. I was going nowhere. I had owned this part for 8 months now. I'm going nowhere, at least 7. I'm going nowhere. I own this guy, and it's good. I know it's good. I'm going nowhere, but I tell him, he wants me to resign because we have a difference of opinion. I said, well, let me think about it. I go up to Mickey's room. Knock, knock, knock. What's happening, Ace? I said, dude, the director asked me to resign. What? So he called the producers, Koch and Kirkwood, who told him I could do what I wanted because they hired me for me. And we told them, and they said they'd take care of it. And they did. They brought in Stuart Rosenberg, who directed a great movie. A great film. The other guy, just went away.
So he tried to get you to resign, and ultimately he got axed.
He got the axe, yeah. But thank God, because Stuart Rosenberg was great for all of us.
And he went with what you were doing. He enhanced. He said, "Hey, yes, do this. Try this."
He just smiled. He gave me the thumbs up. Go, Roberts. Go. Okay.
Did you feel like you were killing it while you were acting? Do you ever feel like the crew's behind you, like they're looking at you like, fuck, this guy's good?
Well, I tell you, the greatest feeling in the world besides a standing ovation on Broadway, which I've had, is this. When you do a scene, it's very emotional, and you end it with, Charlie, they took my thumb, and the crew applauds. Then you know you hit it. You know you hit
The
it.
crew is so vital.
They're
They
everything.
know. They're everything.
They're
They know
everything.
more than anybody.
They're everything.
They're your audience.
They're your peeps.
Were you popular in high school?
With a certain group, yeah. Half jocks, half artists, yeah.
Because your parents were actors, so to speak, right?
Sort of, yeah. Mom made a couple of movies. After I got famous, Mom started teaching, to use Robert's name.
Right.
Even though she'd already had another marriage, had another name, but she went back to Roberts. And Dad, died young. He was shy of his 44th birthday when he died.
He died in like 77, right?
Exactly. December 3rd, 77, the old man died. And
Was that hard for you?
Well, yeah, because he was my support system about, leaving and going and staying and doing it, Because what Atlanta kid was going to move to New York with not knowing anybody, find an apartment in Flatbush, Brooklyn, New York, on his own for $160 a month, get a job as a delivery boy, probably making $220 a month, and and survived. And I did, to the point where I got successful enough that I could bring my baby sisters out. Come on, babies, the water's fine, and it was cool.
Were you pretty close with your sisters, like Julia Roberts? Obviously, were you as a young kid?
Sure.
I mean, you were 12 years older than her, right?
Yeah, I taught them both how to read, write, and swim.
So they looked up to their big brother.
Oh yeah, I'm a hero.
You're a fucking hero. How old were you when your dad passed?
21.
I mean, that's got to be tough because he didn't get to see the big part of your success, right?
And he only missed it by a month. I auditioned for King of the Gypsies the first
That was
time
the big break.
in January. I had the role by Valentine's Day, and I was shooting by spring.
Was it emotional, like when you got all the accolades and you felt like this was your break, that your dad wasn't there?
Well, I wanted to share with him because everybody expects you're an instant billionaire and you have access to anything in the world and you're king of the world and they all have their hands out. And you kind of have to, because you can't act like you don't see it, but you can't put anything in their hands because you don't have what they think you have. So it's kind of a catch-22.
Yeah.
And you just have to put your head down and go. And it's unfortunate. But you find out who your friends are. It's such a cliche thing to say, but you do.
It really is. It's so important to find that group that doesn't bring you down, lifts you up, believes in you, you can trust. And that's so hard to find, especially, I mean, it's cliche, but like in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But I always say, like, I have the best group of friends that just are very normal people that just aren't about all that other stuff. And that's, and I was hanging out with the wrong crowd when I first got here and doing stuff and doing movies and got into some drugs and got into some, the drinking and all that. But when you find that group that actually you feel like you're cared about, like someone cares about you, I think that is vital to your success and your well-being, because you could just fall apart and go the other way, and you see it all the time.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure that's what happened to you, right? At times?
To some degree. See, I was such a practicing drug addict that I alienated a lot of people, and a lot of the casualties are my family. And but currently we like each other. We respect each other.
You text each other, like you and Julia text each other now? You're cool, everything's changed?
Not on a daily basis, but on occasion, sure.
And that was all from just coming clean, in a sense, right?
All just what it is. Yeah, it's what it is. Everything has its time and place. And if you don't pretend, everything's going to fall in place.
As long as you're honest with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an overused and abused word, so it almost has no meaning. But honesty is so precious in your relationship with your wife, in relationship with your manager, in
With
relationship
yourself.
with yourself. Honesty it's such an overused word that has no real meaning. It has no emotional meaning anymore. But honesty is so emotional and so
visceral. Yeah, right.
Good man.
It is. It's more like you could just breathe knowing you're like being honest. It's so, in one expression, it'd be that. It'd be a sigh. That would be honesty. Just, Now it's time for a JCPenney Make It Count moment. This week's Make It Count moment is sponsored by JCPenney. In a world where things change as fast as the seasons, JCPenney is there to help make fashion count for everybody and everybody. The moment we wanted to make sure counted to you was Eric Roberts realizing the commonality among many of us that comes with self-loathing and how at the end of the day, fear lives behind ego.
I've been in therapy probably, if you add it all up, probably a decade. Probably 3 years ago.
Did that help?
Oh, yeah. I realized how common I am.
Common.
Yeah. And also
common in the sense that everybody has anxiety. So you realize, hey, I got it too.
And the self-loathing issue that we all go through at certain ages. And they come and go.
Yeah, I've been there.
But we all have it in common.
I'm sure you've worked with some pretty big egos.
The thing about egos, you have to understand, ego when it's presented, comes from fear. And once you know that, you just accept what it is. You don't judge it as its behavior.
So you can let it go. You could see some ego and go, that guy or that woman.
You have to. If you don't, you're going to make it your problem.
Look, we all make mistakes in life. We all do things we're not proud of, but it's all about growth. And I think that's what this interview really was about, growth. You have to learn to love yourself no matter what. And we're human. We make mistakes. You got to move on and accept. Thanks again to JCPenney, the fall destination for the latest trends, budget-friendly fashion, and beauty products. Shop JCPenney in-store or online. JCPenney. Make it count. A lot of actors always have to be doing something. They always have to be working. So many actors that like this movie to this movie to this movie. And you've done over 700. You have 700 credits or more, which is like, I don't even know how you had time to do it.
There's an explanation for all of it. Let me give it to you straight.
Give it to me straight.
So,
be honest.
So I was a movie star. I made 1 to 4 movies a year, like movie stars do. I was paid well. I was not rich, but I was comfortable. It was nice. And then they took film. We all didn't know what was going to happen. Okay, we have digital. It's not attractive. A lot of the middle-aged ladies are retiring. Okay, and we all watched. Okay, everybody became a studio who owned a camera. And they started calling me direct. In about 1990, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, I don't know. My wife comes to me and goes, she's also my manager, by the way. And she comes to me, it's all in-house. She comes to me and says, Eric, you are getting 30 to 50 offers every day from all over the world. Do you want to pursue this? I said, sure. I thought the last couple of months, maybe a couple of years, it'll taper because everybody's just, I can make an opera. I'm a studio. But that was 30 years ago. And since then, I can be on a different set every single day. Now I'm on set like 3 or 4 days at a time. But it's a dream come true because my wife asked me in 1992, she says to me, if you could do anything every day, Eric, what would it be? I said, I'd be on a set. She goes, well, that's not going to happen. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Well, it can happen now. And it's really neat. And it also taught me we have these young, wonderful people making movies who are going to make them with or without me. And they offer me roles I'd never get offered otherwise. And I go make them happy and play them. And it's fun, dude. I have a great
You like
life.
it a lot more than doing like big studio movies all the time.
There is no difference. Everybody says one or the other.
You're still on set. You're still making art. You're still doing it.
It's like TV or film. There's no difference, dude. It's the same job. I have the same job in the same way.
Yeah.
And I love my job.
You're saying if somebody wants you, it's easy to get a hold of, your wife to say, if the offer's right, if you like the project.
We're not unapproachable is the point.
Yes, is what I'm asking.
Sure.
You're not.
No. And it's all on the internet. It's all there to be seen, all there to be found.
So you work when you want to work.
Hopefully, it's almost every day. I'm that lucky. Yeah, as an actor.
And you love it.
Dude.
How easy is it for you to learn lines?
Well, if it's an overnight turnaround, I ask for cue cards and I have a guy who makes them. So it's like bang, 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 and done. So it's.
So you just have cue cards.
It's not a problem.
You don't have to even worry about it.
If it's an overnight thing. But if it's not an overnight thing, I like learning lines because it gives me freedom.
Right.
And it's just more fun to know your words.
Have you ever used an earwig?
Yeah, I've been recommended that. I've been told Johnny Depp used this earwig for 5 years, Eric. And I'm like,
Robert Downey Jr. apparently.
Apparently so. But I can't do it because while somebody's talking to me, I'm hearing my line in my ear. It's like, it overlaps.
It's kind of...
Yeah, it takes me out of character. It takes me out of focus because I'm trying to, oh, yeah, right.
listen and act at the same time.
Exactly. And I can't do that. Yeah. As with a card across the street, I have a card. I glance at the card. I know exactly what to say. It's just, yeah. And I say my line. And it's like piece of cake.
And you have a guy who does the cards for you. Hey, I need these. Write these down. We're doing this tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you go, and nobody would ever know.
Out of the many hundreds of movies I've done, I use cue cards probably to overestimate maybe 40 times. Okay.
Nobody ever knows. Who cares?
I know. And
I would use them. I wish that was the thing.
I've used them on all the Stop By My Doctor movies, which are my favorites. I love making those movies. And those movies are so famous overseas. It's so much fun to go, oh, the doctor. Yeah, he's such a crazy person, too.
I love it. Do you have you been through depression, bouts of depression or anxiety and things like that in your life?
Of course. But to bring it up as a line, I've been through depression, is to invite all kinds of weird misunderstandings. But yeah, depression is a cloud, and you have to learn how to clear it.
Because we talk about this on this show. I mean, a lot of people, because we talk about mental well-being and facing adversity and this and that. And it helps. You'd be surprised by how many people it helps that are listening. And it's like, hearing from someone like you and what you did about it.
Well, I tell you, back in the day, I only smoked dope. And it got me through all kinds of anxieties. But then I met my wife, who is allergic to marijuana. Allergic.
How is that possible?
I mean, she sneezes and coughs and gets a red nose. She's allergic to marijuana. So I'd be smoking dope in the car with her when we first met. She's like, God, yeah. And I realized, and then we found out from a doctor, she is actually allergic to marijuana. It took care of it. It was a great filter. But then as I grew older and grew more married and grew more in love with my wife after we were married. And it happens about every 3 years. I fall in love with my wife again. But I learned to help myself without external ingredients.
What do you do?
Well, I breathe, I walk, I read, I walk a lot.
Just with your thoughts. You just kind of walk your thoughts out.
And I have a great property. It's a triple lot, a little house and a guest house, a garage and a pool. And we have a koi pond.
You can invite me over so we can hang out?
Yeah, sure.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
We should do that.
It's a great property to smoke dope on.
I'll do it. Although your weed is probably old school Hollywood weed and will get me all fucked up.
No, my school is called Cheap Mexican because I don't want to get fucked up. I just want to get happy.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some people are like, oh, this is nothing. And I go, all right. And I'm just like going, oh my God, I want to jump off a roof. I got to talk myself.
The weed now can be called narcotics.
I agree with you.
Our weed was weed.
Yeah.
I know.
I take these pot taffies. There are these little taffies this girl makes for me. And there's the stronger ones and the just chill ones. But overall, it's just like, at the end of a long day, I go downstairs and I take a taffy and I just feel good. I'm not all over the place. I'm not nervous, freaking out. I'm just chilling.
I'm all for that stuff. And I've always been all for that stuff, except when you have children under voting age or you have grandchildren under voting age. And it's just, you feel you have to always stay somewhat responsible.
Yeah.
And edibles do not leave you somewhat responsible.
Well,
as we know.
That might be right. But so you walk, you ever go to therapy?
I've been in therapy probably, if you add it all up, probably a decade. Probably 3 years ago.
Did that help?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I realized how common I am.
Common.
Yeah. And also...
Common in the sense that everybody has anxiety. So you realize, hey, I got it too.
And the self-loathing issue that we all go through at certain ages. And they come and go.
Yeah, I've been there.
But we all have it in common. Yeah.
How do you get rid of that? I mean, you just got to work it out, talk it out, and like you said, be honest?
Well, whatever works for you is what you go after. And you have to find what works for you. And what works for me is a cup of coffee in the morning and my wife's company. I love that woman's mind like I love that woman's body.
You never hear people talk about how much they love their wife, especially at an older age. It's like, like how you're still, after 17 years of being married?
Excuse me, 17.
How many? 27.
32.
32 years, and you're still feeling this. I could tell by the way you talk about her.
Well,
Look at you, you're smiling, you're giddy. What is it about her that you just feel this way? She comforts you, doesn't she?
Well, she's the kindest with a sexual orientation that I've ever known about. And she's also so intelligent that you can't fuck with her brains. And I just love that about her. Because she can fuck with mine a little bit, because she's smarter than me. And I know that. But no, I'm just crazy about my wife. She's who I spend the most time with. We work together. I mean, she's my manager. And
does she travel with you ever?
She stopped doing that about 5 years ago. She starts waving goodbye. Have a good trip.
Do you miss it?
Oh, yeah.
You'd rather her be with you.
Yeah, I would, but I also know that's selfish. What I do like is I have more room for my luggage, and that's handy. And I have a room in the closet.
Come on.
No, it's a thing, but
Hey, who's the biggest ego you've ever worked with? Or you don't have to say if you don't want to, but I'm sure you've worked with some pretty big egos.
The thing about egos, you have to understand, ego when it's presented, comes from fear. And once you know that, you just accept what it is. You don't judge it as its behavior.
So you can let it go. You could see some ego and go, that guy or that woman.
You have to. If you don't, you're going to make it your problem.
Did you ever have an ego?
Sure, a little bit now and then. Sure. And, but I check myself. And, yeah. And I also don't like in other people, so I don't give them what I don't like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do people still come up for your autograph a lot?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I love it.
You do?
I mean, well, here's...
some people don't want to be bothered. They're like, I don't know.
I'm at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London. Laurence Olivier is doing a long day's journey at the Old Vic. We choose straws. My roommate wins. He goes to invite Laurence Olivier to our senior plays. Okay, that's silly, but he does it. He comes back. Hey, Jazz, you want to come to our senior? Yes, I saw him earlier. I could not speak. Could not speak to him. He comes back. He has great presence. He passes me by. I could not speak. Okay, I'll do it. So next time I go down there, I wait outside the dressing room door. He walks out. He walks towards me. He takes a left-hand turn. I go to Lord Olivier. He stops, turns around. Yes. On behalf of my class, I'd like to invite blah, 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 blah. Some bullshit. He puts his arm around me, walks me to his Bentley, where Joan Plowright is standing by the door with his driver. They're standing
his
side
wife,
by side.
yeah.
Yes. And he said, Joan, Eric, Joan. Love your name, actually, lovely name. No, can't attend your senior plays. So sorry, I'm on stage every evening, of course. Love the invitation. And he was nice to me. It took him maybe 15 seconds, but he was nice to me. And I became a hero at school. So from that day to this day, I will give you a minute. especially if you know who I am and why I am. And you're nice.
And it was all from that moment of how gracious he was.
Laurence Olivier was nice to a teenage kid he did not know who was hassling him.
Isn't that something?
I know.
Impression.
Yeah, that was a really good impression. Yeah, you said you don't do impressions.
I never forgot it, man. And so I will always give it back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, thanks to him.
Do you ever go to conventions, autograph signings?
Sure, they're fun.
They are fun. I do those
They're
too.
fun.
And you have people that ever get emotional with you?
Yeah, I've seen people cry.
And what do?
You pat them on the back and you smile. It's okay.
We all go through it. Yeah,
sure.
Where do you see yourself? Do you want to just keep doing what you're doing? You love what you're doing. You love where you are at this point. Like if you say 5 years from now, you want to still be doing what you're doing.
Well, I don't have an image anymore because what happened was I went from, I'm now into my third generation of the moviegoers or even home movie watchers. I'm in my third generation, especially with Best of the Best, where a dad has told his son and the son has told his son. And they all watch Best of the Best parts 1 and 2. And it makes you feel a little bit like an institution for the right reasons. And I like it. And since I know what it means to me to admire somebody, to be admired, I'm so proud of it. I'm just so proud of it that you can admire me for what I do. Thank you.
I can't believe what a nice guy you are.
Oh, get
I
over
thought you'd have like an ego or something. You always have these thoughts of like, oh, it's Eric Roberts. He's Hollywood. He's old Hollywood. He's gonna be like, what am I fucking doing here? I ask another question.
Well, I have an ego in that I believe in myself, but then I do something crazy like Dancing with the Stars. It's the most humbling experience I've ever gone through, in that audiences don't bother me, not even a little bit.
Right.
But I walk on that floor with Britt, and what pops in my brain is 40 million people are home watching this show. 18 million of them are men, and they're doing what I used to do when I walked through the room with my wife, and she's watching the show, and I walk through and I stop and eat my frozen yogurt, watching over her shoulder going, that guy can't dance.
And then you think they're doing that with you?
Of course they are. Of course they are. And I know that. And it makes me feel very unprepared. And then that,
I mean, but you haven't been dancing your whole life.
Not even a little bit.
That's why it's called Dancing with the Stars. I mean, you're still dancing with you, but you're dancing with people who know what the hell they're doing.
Britt can dance.
Right?
Britt can dance.
She can obviously dance.
Yeah.
But I think you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you.
You know what it
much.
is? You look like you're having fun, and I think that's the most important. When people know you're having fun, and then they don't look at you like you're scared shitless, even though you are.
I am, but the audience is very kind to you there, and they scream your name, and they flash cinematic cameras at you, and they're just sweetie pies.
Yeah,
and it's just fun to be there.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. I talk about how therapy helps all of us out there. And I think the stigmatism of going to therapy has changed in the last few years. And people are starting to realize that we all need someone to listen to. And there are things that get bottled up and things that you need to talk about. We need to talk about. So I have a lot of friends. I know Ryan here uses BetterHelp and so many people out there. And so I hope you give therapy a chance. Think of a time recently when you didn't feel like you could be your full self, like you were hiding behind a mask. October is the season for wearing masks and costumes, but some of us feel like we wear a mask and hide more often than we want to, at work, in social settings, around our family. Therapy can help you learn to accept all parts of yourself so you can take off the mask, because masks should be for Halloween fun, not for our emotions. Therapy is helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you are thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. If you don't like your therapist, switch them. It's easy. I know people think about that a lot. Like, what do I do? It's easy. Visit betterhelp.com/inside today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/inside. Inside of You is brought to you by JCPenney. Ryan, the fall is here.
Wow.
And JCPenney has fashion for literally everyone. That's right, folks. Fashion for everyone. You can go to JCPenney or shop online. But look, I know a lot of times, JC, we'll get into the brands. They have so many great brands, but a lot of times I wear sweatpants on this show. In fact, I'm wearing them now, and a t-shirt. But when I go out, I want to look sharp. I want to be trendy. I want to be cool. I want to feel good about myself, more importantly. And that's what happens when I go to JCPenney. JCPenney really covers it all in terms of fashion. You get the biggest brand names in fashion all in the same place.
JCPenney really covers it all in terms of fashion. I mean, I can get the biggest brand names in fashion all in the same place.
Liz Claiborne, Stafford, Ryegrass, Worthington, SJB, Arizona, so much more. Women's and men's trousers, sweaters, denim. It's just endless.
You can also explore JCPenney Beauty and find your favorite beauty brands too, or discover new ones to add to your fall beauty routine.
It's all here at JCPenney. Shop JCPenney or go to JCPenney online. JCPenney, make it count. What is the toughest time in your life, you'd say? If you have to think back of like, this was the toughest period.
Probably the loss of relationship with my daughter.
And that's in the book.
That's in the book.
And I'm sure that's a big chapter.
Well, the problem is it should be. The problem is it's indefinable. So I'll let you be the judge of that.
So you can't really, because even looking at you now, I see a pain.
No, there's not a pain. There's a sadness for the most likely misunderstandings we'll all have forever, because we're human.
Yeah.
And I started accepting that about myself with the birth of my grandchildren, especially the 5-year-old. She was first, and she was a girl, and so very vulnerable to me, and took a liking to me at 2.5, in a very strong way, and named my wife Fama, and we're all very close.
Yeah.
And so that, and she also looks like Emma.
Really?
It's just same coloring, and so it reminds me of what I didn't have.
Right.
So that might be the most painful, personally.
Yeah.
Might be.
Well, it's all in the book.
It's in the book.
I'm sure that was incredibly hard to write, too. That's probably the hardest thing to write.
To write it at all was the hardest thing to write. That book was hard to write, and I didn't want to write it.
Did you ever feel like giving up halfway through or at different times?
Every single page.
And what kept you going?
My wife said it's hard because you're staying honest. And I let that be my fuel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough. But kudos to you. I mean, a lot of people won't do that. They won't be honest. They'll write something because they'll say, oh,
well,
write what people want to hear.
I can't take credit. I mean, if I were left to my own devices or totally alone, it would not be an honest book.
Right.
So I can't take total credit for that.
What do you think your most cherished role is? Not by people or audiences, but by you. Like, that's the role that I just loved the most playing.
Well, there's probably half a dozen of those because I made a lot of movies.
Yeah.
So there's been periods of my life in relationships with directors or relationship with the writer, and it's different every time. But it would be my first movie, King of the Gypsies.
Yeah.
It would be my smallest good movie, Paul's Case. It would be the best docudrama ever made, Star 80.
Star 80.
It would be the best twist of a character ever done successfully, The Pope of Greenwich Village. It would be Runaway Train, because I changed that character and they allowed it, and it worked. And it'd be Love is a Gun that I made with my wife and Kelly Preston. and it would be Purgatory that I made with Sam Shepard. Those are the films that I would show anybody any day of the week.
Now I want you to narrow it down to 2.
Well, for what reasons, and I will.
All right, first reason, the biggest break, Gypsies.
Yeah, Gypsies. So the biggest breaks, the biggest change in my life, it would be Gypsies and Star 80 and Runaway Train are neck and neck because people think I got nominated for Star 80 even though I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Pope was probably the biggest character?
Sure. Yeah.
You know, a character that just was larger than life.
Well, he was bigger than life.
He was.
Yeah.
Is there movies that you wish could be deleted forever?
A couple, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave them nameless.
I have a couple too, and I haven't done near as many movies as you. You ever feel like you walked through something and later regretted it? Like you should have given more of a shit?
Well, I made a big bad move one day. I was on a TV series, an intermittent character, but was important to the series that I existed as a character. And they gave me a rewrite. And I didn't pay the kind of attention to it I should have. And arrived on set and realized, this rewrite's a page and a half long with no other cues except my own words. Oops. I guess I should, action, learn this sometime. And I didn't know it.
And that was tough.
And that was tough. They have not had me back. So that's how that worked.
How did you feel about doing Righteous Gemstones?
That was my favorite job I've ever had in the history.
Did you work with Danny McBride?
Yeah.
Dude, I think honestly, him and Kristen Wiig are the funniest people on the planet. And maybe Bill Hader.
On the planet.
I mean,
with you.
What was it like?
Well, now that we've lost Jonathan and Robin, you're right.
Yeah, well, of course. But what would you say? How would you describe working? Did you work with Goodman too?
Yeah, every day.
So what would you say that experience was like for you? Were you kind of nervous at all?
Nervous? No. In love? Yes. Artistically, overlapping romantically in love because we could do it together. Let's do it. What a feeling. I mean, that's, you're going to walk on a set with a guy who's going to hit it just like you're going to hit it. And you're going to hit it together.
Did you improvise?
Sometimes, but not a lot because the words were that good. I mean, you didn't have to. You didn't want to.
I love that. A lot of actors compare themselves to other actors. Did you ever go through a stage where you're like, I could do that, and he's got this career, and then finally, because comparing yourself is what's the quote? I don't know what it is, but there's a quote about comparing yourself to other people, and it's like, it's not a good thing to carry. It's not a good thing to do.
Well, I've always been too pompous for that because I've been a good actor since I'm 8. I've been acting since I'm 4, but I've been a good actor since I'm 8. I've been a great actor since I'm 14, and I know that. And I can do it, and if I can't do it, you'll be the first to know. I'm gonna say I can't do this one. All right. but like to arrive on a set with John was to go to heaven. John and I were gonna hit it, and we both knew each other were dependable for each other.
And he was kind.
Yeah, he was like me. He was like ready to work. We were so happy.
Oh man. I would love to work with Danny McBride and John Goodman.
It's cool, man.
That's really cool. This is called Shit Talking with Eric Roberts. These are my top tier patrons. I get to ask questions. Join patreon.com/inside of you and support the podcast. Here we go. You ready? This is.
I don't mean to get off issue, but this coffee's unbelievable.
That is Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
So you bought it. You did not make it.
You know what? I'm gonna give you a box. I have extra boxes.
You have the pod? You made Dunkin' Donuts coffee here.
Yeah, they have the pods.
Okay.
Do you have the Keurigs? Or do you make real coffee?
My wife does both.
Well, I have the Keurigs. I'm gonna give you a little box.
Okay, I'll take it.
See if it works.
Thank you, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Because it's unbelievable coffee.
Well,
and I'm a snob about coffee. I'm like a snob.
It is pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Right? It's pretty tasty. I'm gonna have a sip right now.
Yeah, it is.
All right, here are the questions.
Okay.
These are easy questions.
Okay.
You got through the tough part.
Okay.
Nico P says, what's your favorite comfort food?
Pizza.
You love pizza.
Yeah.
How did you prepare to play the part of the Reverend yet controversial William Faulkner, and what attracted him to the role?
Well, my first love affair as a young reader, pre-puberty, was William Faulkner. And so I grow up, I become a movie actor, and they say, play William Faulkner. I'm going to say no. I can't say no because they used his words. So you kind of can't argue with the fact of the writing. You can't say, no, I don't want to say that. That's what he said. So you kind of stuck with it. Now, I had done biographies before, and they're frightening. And he was very hard because of his accent. I know Southern accents, but there are 5 to 7 Southern accents, all depending on how you cut them up. And he had one of those Savannah accents, and it was tough. And he was also a drunk, but he didn't act drunk. So I had that issue too. So it was very difficult. It was a lot of fun. It was a dream come true, and that I felt complimented that I was offered that part. And
that's cool. It's cool when people just like follow your career and know everything you've done.
And then neat.
They just like, they love you and they love you to the end.
It's neat, man.
It is neat.
Yeah.
Flirtatious B, what's your favorite genre to act in and why?
Well, I've got 2. And that would be in Western America, pre-Civil War, or Eastern America, pre-Depression.
Wow. Those are specific.
Yeah. Because of the clothes and because of the attitude and because of the wealth or the lack of.
And don't you feel like when you put on those sort of costumes, you just jump into it?
Yes.
You're like, you feel like it's like you're young again. You're acting. You're like playing a general or playing a whatever, a soldier. Yeah, that's pretty cool. By the way, what about horror? Because you see all these horror posters around. You like horror?
If it'll scare me, yeah. It's got to scare me, though. And I get easily disappointed. It didn't scare me.
Easily disappointed. What's your favorite horror movie?
Well, because of the reaction it had on me, it's 2. It'd be The Tingler with Peter Lorre or Wolfman with Junior, Lon Chaney Jr.
John Laney.
Laney.
Lon Chaney.
Yeah, because of the effects. To the point where Wolfman, I bought a model, and my dad and I put it together, and we painted it. I couldn't sleep with it in the room because, oh my God, it's Wolfman.
That's old school.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, what was that? Was that the 50s?
It was probably made in the late 50s. I saw it in the early 60s, probably 62, 3 or 4.
And it scared you?
Oh, to death. Are you kidding? I couldn't sleep with a model in my room.
I love it. Stephanie and Evan, who I love. How much fun was it to reunite with Mickey Rourke on Spun after working together on Greenwich Village?
There's a story about that. It was great fun. I love Mickey, and we love each other, I think. And but they offered me that part, and the director said, I like your body. I'd like you to be shirtless, and I'm going to have a bunch of girls around you. I said, you know what? That's been done. Let's go the other way, and I'll be gay and have me have a boy. And he said, okay. So that's what happened. And Mick was cool with it, and we killed it, me and Mick, again.
Do you still talk to Mick?
Probably every 10 or 12 days for something stupid.
Just, did you see this or
whatever?
Check this out?
Yeah, nothing but something.
Melissa M., what was it like filming the movie The Immortals? Got any stories to tell?
It was real fun. Chris Rock was not a monster fame yet, and was probably the most fun guy to work with on that movie was Chris, because he improvised a lot of his stuff, and it was a lot of fun, and we just all fell in love with him. And he wasn't famous yet, but he was cool.
Yeah,
we loved him.
What about The Expendables? Working with Stallone and all those guys.
It was like boys camp, dude. Like boys camp.
I worked with Stallone a couple of times, and it was. I don't think people realize how funny he actually is.
He's funny and smart, dude.
Yeah.
People think he's Rocky. He is not. He's funny. He wrote Rocky. He's funny and smart.
He said that to me on set. He goes, I go, Sly, you're fucking funny. He's like, a lot of people always think I'm serious. I'm not, I like to laugh. I like to, joke around.
That's him.
I mean, he was great. I guarantee he has a side to him though that you don't want to cross. He's got one of those things where he's like, yeah, it's fun. He's like, yeah, do that. And then there's that. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that? We're like, hey, get the fuck over here. What are we doing?
I plead the fifth.
I plead the. But he's like nice. And if something's not right, he's like, hey, what the fuck? Like anybody else. But Hearing it is Sly.
I will tell you a great Sly story real quick. So we're making The Specialist, and I'm off one night, and he's working. It's a night shoot, and he's got a scene outside. And I say to my wife, let's sneak up like we're part of the crowd, just watch. I'd love to do that. So we do. Nobody recognizes me. It's all cool. We're hitting. Suddenly Sly, like he knew I was there the whole time, goes, hey, Eric, we don't have a scene together, this fucking movie. In front of the crowd and everybody. I'm like, yeah, I guess not. I'm going to write one. I'll write it tonight. We'll shoot it tomorrow. I think he's showing off for the crowd. I just think it's kind of stupid, but okay, whatever. Thanks, Sly, blah, blah. Anyway, he wrote the scene that night and we shot it the next day. And it's a great scene. It's a scene on the street when I put a knife in his eye. And so Sly's that kind
What?
of... Yeah.
Wait, he just the night he goes, we don't have a scene there. Like, I'm going to write something tonight. I'm going to film it tomorrow. You're like, yeah, whatever.
Exactly.
And he does it.
And it happened. That's the kind of... I will always love him for that.
Did he call you for this role? Or they just called you and offered it to you?
It was an offer. I think he might have something to do with it. It's a Sly movie.
Do you get only offers? Do you ever audition?
I audition every day.
What do you mean you audition every day?
I audition every day. Well, the great thing about auditioning now is you get to do at-home auditions. And a lot of my bosses are much younger than me. They're younger than my daughter. And so they don't know who I am except through their mothers. Or they saw an old movie when they were young, and they don't know who I am. So they say, well, Eric, audition. And Eric says yes, because Eric understands. And Eric is production friendly. So yeah, and it also gets it out of the way because I love to audition. It's an at-home audition, so I can do it 35 times if I need to.
And you have your wife to help you.
And I have my wife as my director, dude.
Jesus. I mean, you've done so... Grey's Anatomy, too, you did. What about Celebrity Island with Bear Grylls?
That was fun, dude.
I love Bear Grylls.
Yeah,
was that hard?
Yeah, it was a drag. It was like 30 days long of no food.
You wanted to get out of there.
I did, but it was only because of hunger. I was dying. and I can be held responsible for my behavior. I don't think it was too bad, but I was out of my mind.
What do you mean?
No.
When you don't eat, you get a little bit like lightheaded and you get a little bit, you start...
I was stupid.
Hallucinating.
I'll say that. I was stupid.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Dude, I lost my mind a little bit.
I think everybody, if you don't eat for 30 days...
I didn't get emotional, but I got, mindless. Yeah, sure. It's hard.
I love that. I love that you're still in love. I love that you still love what you do. I love that you wrote a memoir.
Well, all bullshit aside, I got the best job on the planet, dude. On the planet. And I get to see the planet. I get to meet really cool people. Crews are almost always the coolest peeps on the planet.
Always.
Actors come and go. But crews are always the same.
You're right.
And they're always likable. They're always approachable. They're always fucking funny.
Always the hardest working people.
They're always overworked. Yeah. And I always love being around them.
Yeah, me too.
I love eating with the crew.
Me too. I do. This has been an absolute joy. This really has.
Thanks, dude.
You're a great guy. You're so open. And your memoir, Runaway Train, is out now.
It's out now.
You need to get it because you got to hear more of these stories.
I just wish that I'd done Dancing with the Stars before I wrote the book so it could be a chapter in the book because it'd been a great chapter. But
maybe it's your next book.
Maybe that's how it'll start the next book, if this book sells. We'll see.
Pick up where you left off.
Who knew?
Yeah, I love it. This is great. I should have a Pope of Greenwich Village poster, but it's not horror. Although your thumb gets cut off, so it's sort of horror. Thanks for being here.
Anytime.
It was awesome. Great guy, huh?
I love a good old Hollywood story.
Oh, man. I love them. I love the stories. I love I just love how he's kind of found his way. He's in love. Because there's a lot of ups and downs in his life. And that's what it's all about. It's called life. It's not just all good. There's a lot of it. You know?
Yeah.
Shit hits the fan sometimes, Ryan. Has shit hit the fan in your life just thus far?
Little pieces here and there, sure.
Little shits of the fan?
Little shits in the fan?
My life's hit the fan. Shit's hit the fan a few times.
Yeah.
And, but it's probably going to only get harder. The older you get, you start to lose your parents, you start to lose your friends, it gets tougher and tougher, but I think you build a sort of, what's the word?
Armor?
Yeah,
shit armor.
Well, you kind of like learn to deal with things. It's important. I have a friend who doesn't know how to deal with anything. If something happened to her parents or something happened to her cat, she would lose her mind. And I'm serious about that. Like she doesn't know how. It's almost like she's still like a 10-year-old little girl. She doesn't have the maturity, so she's like she doesn't know how to deal with it. And I tell her, you got to talk to a therapist. You got to learn to accept things that happen and grieve, and it's okay. But like when you're like, I can't deal with it. I can't be alive if my parents aren't alive. I'm like, parents have been dying for thousands of years. and you know, they get through it. I mean, it sucks.
Only thousands of years though. It hasn't been that long. The parents have been dying.
Well, how many years? Thousands.
Millennia.
Oh.
Is that also thousands? That's also thousands.
Yeah.
We are very smart.
Hannah, thousands of years?
At least 5.
At least 5,000 years.
That's a lot.
I don't know. I don't even know where I am on the timeline of life. Anyway, right now we are going to hear about our top tier patrons. We're going to hear their names because that's one of the perks you get of being a patron. And go to patreon.com/inside of you, become a patron. And there's a great community. So many people become friends and travel together and go to cons together and see me and whatever. But here are the top tiers that give the most, and we'll read their names. It's very exciting. I love these people. Nancy D. Thanks for the pictures. Little Lisa, you rock. Yukiko, Jill E, Brian H, Nico P, Rob L, Jason W, Sophie M, Raj C, Jennifer N, Stacy L, Jamal F, Janelle B, Mike, L Don Supremo, 99 more, Santiago M, Maddie S, Kendrick F, Belinda N, Dave Hull, hello Dave, Brad D, Ray Harada, and you know, a lot of these folks I saw in New Jersey, and it was awesome to put a face to the names that I read off every week. So continue on.
I also put a face to the names, and I'm sorry if I forgot.
Yeah, well, we always, it's not. Yeah,
we'll have to get reminded.
Yeah.
So remind me. Tabitha T, Tom N, Talia M, Betsy D, Rhiannon C, Corey K, Dev Nexon, Michelle A, Jeremy C, Mr. Melsky.
Mr. Melsky. Is that a new one?
I don't recognize that one.
No, that's new, Mr. Melsky.
That's high up on the list, Mr. Melsky. Eugene and Leah, The Salty Ham, Mel S, Eric H, Oracle, Amanda R, William K, Kevin E, Jor L, Jam and J, Leanne J, Luna R, and Mike F.
Jules M, Jessica B, Kaylee J. How about an announcer? Does it sound Charlene A, Marion Louise L. How about a movie announcer? Romeo the Band, Frank B, Jen T, April R, Randy S, Claudia, Rachel D, Jen, Carolina Girl, Nick W, Stephanie and Evan, known as
Stefan,
Charlene A, Don G, Jenny B716 E, NG, Tracy, Keith B, Heather and Greg, we love, along with everyone else. And something I don't love everyone else. So when you stop and you say you love someone, I hope other people don't think I don't love them.
No.
Okay. LK, Elizabeth L, Ben B. Jammin, PRC, Sultan, Ingrid C, Christina S, Brandon C, Mrs. Lex Luthor, Dave T, and David L. Dave T. Dave T gave a lot as a patron. He's really, thank you. That is our podcast for the day. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you'll visit us next week and keep supporting the podcast. Ryan, always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. You'll be here next week, right?
Sometimes I don't feel like I have a choice, but yeah. I'll be here.
You have a choice.
Do I?
Well, if you didn't show up, then I'd be in trouble. Well, I mean, I could figure it out. I know how to do things.
We've been through that, yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of a drag.
But I like being here, so that's okay.
You do?
I do.
Well, that's the first time you said that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you feel that way.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys. Well, from the Hollywood Hills in Hollywood, California, I'm Michael Rosenbaum.
I'm Ryan Tejas. I'm here, too.
Little wave to the camera. All right, we love you guys, and most importantly, be good to yourself. I'll see you next week.